Something is wrong at the port of Los Angeles. The air feels heavy, and the usual rhythm of the docks is missing. Usually it's a symphony of controlled chaos, cranes swinging, trucks rumbling, and the constant hum of global commerce echoing across the water. Every day, thousands of containers move in and out, connecting America to the world. But today, June 9, 2025, an eerie silence has fallen. The docks are strangely quiet, and the usual bustle has faded into an uneasy calm. Ships from China still arrive, but key containers remain sealed, flagged for indefinite inspection. Workers stand by uncertain as critical cargo sits untouched. The most critical cargo, rare earth elements, has stopped flowing. This isn't just a logistical hiccup, it's the opening shot in a new economic war, one that threatens to upend entire industries. Across the country, ports see the same pattern. Finished goods arrive, but the raw materials for American factories are missing. Assembly lines are at risk of grinding to a halt. What began as whispers of customs delays in China has become a full-blown, undeclared embargo. The flow of essential materials has slowed to a trickle, then stopped. China hasn't made a formal announcement. No press conferences, no decrees, just silence. The world is left to guess at their intentions. In Washington, the news sends shockwaves. Officials scramble for answers, but Chinese counterparts offer only polite deflections, refusing to clarify the situation. Everyone knows the truth. This is a calculated response to the latest round of American tariffs. The trade war has entered a new, more dangerous phase. The U.S. has flexed its economic muscle for years, but now China is punching back, hitting America where it's most vulnerable. The balance of power is shifting. The halt in rare earth exports is a direct challenge to America's economic sovereignty and national security. Without these materials, entire sectors could be paralyzed. The invisible ingredients that power everything from phones to fighter jets have been cut off. The impact will ripple through technology, defense, and beyond. The silence at the ports is a warning. The rules of the global economic game have changed. The world is watching, and uncertainty hangs in the air. The question on everyone's mind: what happens next? As markets tremble and leaders search for solutions, the stakes have never been higher. What are rare earths, and why does this embargo matter so much? These 17 metallic elements, like neodymium and dysprosium, are the secret ingredients of modern technology. They're essential for the powerful lightweight magnets in our devices, from smartphones to laptops. Rare earths are in your energy-efficient bulbs, your refrigerator's magnetic seal, and the motors in electric vehicles. They're woven into daily life, often unseen, but their importance goes far beyond consumer gadgets. America's military depends on rare earths for advanced guidance systems, radar, and fighter jets. The green energy transition, wind turbines, electric cars, relies on them too. For decades, the U.S. outsourced rare earth processing to China, which now controls over 85% of global refining. By restricting exports, China can threaten to cripple key sectors of the American economy. The invisible engine has been switched off, and America doesn't know how to turn it back on. China's move is a masterclass in quiet power, a demonstration of influence that doesn't rely on loud threats or dramatic gestures, but on subtle, calculated action. China's move is a masterclass in quiet power, unfolding behind closed doors and in the corridors of global commerce. This is not just a show of strength, it's a lesson in patience and precision, where every step is measured for maximum impact. For years, trade wars meant tariffs and public disputes. This is different. Quieter, more strategic, and far more damaging to the foundations of global supply chains. By targeting rare earths, China isn't just retaliating, it's sending a clear message about who truly controls the building blocks of modern industry, from smartphones to fighter jets. The U.S. once believed its vast consumer market and the dominance of the dollar gave it the upper hand. But this crisis flips that logic on its head, revealing new vulnerabilities. America's dependence on China for critical materials is now its greatest vulnerability, exposing cracks in the very system it helped build. China's advantage is the result of decades of state-directed industrial policy, subsidizing mining, investing in research, and tolerating environmental costs that others shunned. The quiet nature of China's move makes it hard to counter or even condemn internationally, leaving rivals scrambling for a response. Beijing claims administrative delays, all while tightening the screws with a calm, bureaucratic efficiency that's difficult to challenge. U.S. officials are left fighting an opponent who won't even admit there's a fight, forced to react to invisible pressure and shifting ground. China's silent gambit has exposed America's deep dependencies, shaking investor confidence and raising urgent questions about national security. The dragon has shown its teeth, not by roaring but with chilling silence, reminding the world that true power often moves unseen. The world's superpower suddenly has few good options, caught off guard by a strategy it can neither predict nor easily counter. The balance of power has shifted, and the world is watching as a new era of economic rivalry unfolds. In Washington, panic and frustration reign. Emergency meetings at the White House yield few answers. How do you retaliate against an action that's officially denied? Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent tries to reassure the public, but markets aren't buying it. The U.S. has almost no domestic capacity for rare earth processing. Rebuilding it would take years and billions of dollars. The last major American producer went bankrupt, a casualty of Chinese price manipulation. Time is running out, and American industries are starved of essential materials. Lawmakers demand action. Some want subsidies for mining, others push for diplomatic complaints. But everyone knows this is no ordinary trade spat. It's a fundamental challenge to America's economic model and global position. The scramble in Washington is a desperate search for control. The clock is ticking louder every day. The U.S. faces a race it's not prepared to run. The stakes couldn't be higher. The rare earth blockade has slammed into the heart of the U.S. financial system, sending shockwaves through every sector of the economy. What once seemed like a distant geopolitical issue is now a direct threat to American prosperity. The first casualty, the U.S. dollar. Once a symbol of strength and stability, it now faces unprecedented pressure. For decades, the dollar was the world's reserve currency, a safe haven for investors and governments alike. It was the backbone of global trade and finance, trusted in every corner of the world. Now, investors question America's long-term stability. Doubt creeps in as headlines warn of economic uncertainty and shifting global power. If the U.S. can't build its most advanced products, what underwrites its currency? The loss of technological leadership undermines confidence in the dollar's future. The dollar tumbles against the euro and yen, fueling inflation and hurting consumers. Everyday Americans feel the pinch as imported goods and essentials become more expensive. The bond market shakes as U.S. Treasury bonds lose their appeal. Investors, once eager to buy American debt, now hesitate, fearing further losses. To attract wary investors, the government must offer higher interest rates. This move is meant to restore confidence, but it comes at a steep cost. This means higher borrowing costs for everyone: mortgages, car loans, credit cards. Families and businesses alike struggle to keep up with rising payments, putting dreams and plans on hold. Major international investors begin to flee U.S. debt, moving money into gold or German bonds. The world's faith in American financial leadership is shaken, and capital seeks safer ground. The U.S. government relies on selling bonds to fund everything from defense to social security. Without buyers, critical programs and national security are at risk. If the world stops lending America money, the entire financial structure is at risk. The consequences could be catastrophic, rippling through every aspect of society. The economic shockwave from the rare earth crisis threatens to become a tsunami, overwhelming markets and governments alike. The sense of urgency grows with each passing day. The dollar's decline is no longer abstract, it's hitting every American's wallet. From groceries to gas, the cost of living soars and financial anxiety spreads. The crisis is global, but the pain is local. Communities across America feel the impact as businesses close and jobs disappear, while the world watches closely. America's financial dominance is suddenly in question. The future of the dollar and the nation's place in the world hangs in the balance. The crisis is now visible on Main Street. Electronics stores report unprecedented supply chain disruptions. New shipments of smartphones and laptops are delayed indefinitely. Shelves are bare and prices are soaring. A new iPhone, if you can find one, might cost 20% more than last month. The shortage isn't limited to gadgets. Car prices are climbing as automakers struggle to source components. Factories are slowing or halting production. A GM plant pauses its electric vehicle line. A medical device maker warns of MRI delays. These shutdowns threaten thousands of American jobs. For families, the crisis means a painful squeeze on household budgets. The dream of owning the latest technology is slipping out of reach. The stability many took for granted is eroding. Headlines about trade disputes have become empty shelves and higher prices. Scarcity and anxiety are the new reality. As the crisis deepens, America's options are limited and risky. The administration's first move, new tariffs on Chinese imports, only raises costs for businesses and consumers. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Washington announces strict export controls on U.S. technology, hoping to create pain for China. But this is a long-term play, and does little to solve the immediate rare earth shortage. China's response? Calculated silence. Selective shipments to allies, delays for American companies. Beijing divides the West and rewards its friends. The question, who really controls the global economy? For decades, the answer was the United States, military power, the dollar, and a vast consumer market. Now China's patient strategy of controlling supply chains is paying off. The old certainties are gone. The global balance of power is being redrawn before our eyes. What happens next is unknown, but the world has changed.